back to another episode of Saturday Shop Talk. We decided to actually name this series since we're going to be doing it every Saturday going forward. It seems to be working well for you guys and we're enjoying it. So we're going to move forward. We're going to call it Saturday Shop Talk, not Saturday. I'll spell it right in the title, I promise. We're just going to take some more pictures. Today we're doing stereo views. Last week we did postcards. Teresa's working on some really gross Star Wars stuff today.
Hold on, I need to take it for a second.
She's making it noisy. It shouldn't be too bad over here, but
Once I get them out, that whole thing.
we're just going to roll through and answer questions we had in the past week on our YouTube channel and Facebook or wherever we got them. And we're going to work because that's what we do. We're putting in overtime hours on Saturdays. So let's see. First question we've got is from GWizKid33. And he says he puts a dryer sheet in each one of his clothing totes to help mitigate any mild odor issues. Seems to work well. Yeah, we actually have considered that. That's not... We were talking last week about dealing with odors in the tubs and why we put them in individual Ziploc bags. And the dryer sheets is something that we have kind of gone through. The one thing about it is I don't know. I don't really want every piece of clothing going out smelling like a dryer sheet.
Smells like perfume.
Smelling like, yeah, they kind of smell like perfume. It's pretty strong. And we didn't want every piece of clothing smelling like a dryer sheet, I guess. Not that that's a bad thing, but we're not really strong smell kind of people. Like we don't burn candles. We don't do any of that.
We don't wear perfume.
We don't wear perfumes or colognes.
Mild cologne, or mild deodorant.
Yeah, so that even dryer sheets to me are a very strong smell. So I didn't want to have that on every piece of clothing out there, which is why we don't do that. We individually bag them. If one piece of clothing has an issue, we handle it on a piece-by-piece basis. We try to keep the tubs segregated. We bag each piece. We don't let them come together and share smells.
They don't cross-pollinate?
They don't cross-pollinate smells, that's right. And we got Shane commented again. Thank you, Shane. Soda City Flips. He says, great question, great Q&A session. I think there should be more urine-based questions. I should have known that before I read that. I should have read that first. Shane, there you go. You've got your urine-based question or comment here. So we've got you covered for this episode. Welcome back. Let's see here. Who do we got now? Death Pile Picker, Mike. Says, McDonald's and Death Piles both within the first 5 minutes. I've never felt more attacked. Well, Mike, that wasn't an attack, Mike. We were just trying to make you feel at home. That's what we do here. Everybody's welcome here. We're trying to make you feel at home. So we're keeping things familiar for you. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for watching, Mike. Oh, and before I forget here, so I'm just getting ready to use this. This episode is sponsored by the PickPointer Duo. See, we sell these. We sell them in pairs of two, a little and a big. If you guys have ever taken a photo and you had a customer say, I didn't see that in the photos, like you're pointing out a flaw or something like that, these fix that problem. So say I've got a little wrinkle in the photo up on this stereo view, I can actually take this, put it over that flaw and take my photo, and then you will never hear from a customer again that they didn't see something in a photo. And we sell those on our website, gramsandpopsvintage.com, if you're interested. I'm not saying you should go buy them, but if you are interested, those have saved us a lot of headaches.
The yellow ones, I think, are on eBay, too.
Yeah, and I actually do like the yellow ones better than... We printed the orange ones because it's kind of our brand color. I've actually found the yellow ones to be more helpful just because they stand out on pretty much anything other than a pure yellow piece of clothing or something. All right, back to the fun here. Anita Foster 1450 says, I appreciate your video. Thank you, Anita. I started in July by watching videos about how many items to list per day. Didn't make sense, so I set my goal at $200 per day after your video. I'm going to increase that amount. For me, it makes me stay hyper-focused on sourcing the best items. She actually commented this on our video from quite a while ago about how we list $500 a day rather than a set number of days. And she's right. To us, or at least she's right in our thinking. Like to us, it made more sense. If we want to make X amount a day, then we have to be at least sourcing and listing that much per day. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. If I list 10 of these stereo views a day, but I want to make $500 a month on, or $500 a day on eBay. It's not a very likely scenario that that's going to happen. And if it does happen, it'll be a one-off. It won't be a long-term sustainable thing. So we list about double what we expect to sell is about our number. So if we want to make $500 a day, we would list $1,000 a day in inventory, because we figure it ain't all going to sell. Some of it's going to take a while. But once you build your inventory up, and you've done that for a while, it translates pretty well to where when we were listing $500 a day, we're actually listing considerably more than that now, but when we were listing $500 a day, we were averaging about $250 a day in sales consistently over a 2-year period. Like it stayed, if you averaged it out over the year, we stayed pretty consistent at that. So it does, and it actually tends a little bit higher now. It was closer to $325, but by choosing a dollar amount to list, we had a lot more luck in stabilizing our income, so it was somewhat predictable. So thank you for the question, Anita, and good luck. I hope you get there. If you build that as a habit, it's much easier to maintain once you're doing it. Let's see, Picking for Profits says, just a suggestion, not sure if you have done this or if it can be done on this model. We use an auto feed scanner, a Fujitsu 7160 for sports cards. Used to always do this, but I took out the front rollers and it helped tons with jamming and allowed us to even scan cards in the harder cases, which I still don't do because of the potential to scratch the glass. But if you haven't and can remove the rollers, if it's an option, I think it would help.
Didn't you try that?
Pick it for profit. Yeah, Teresa's right. We watched videos on YouTube before we started scanning our postcards, just trying to get a hang of how they were doing it and what was happening. And that was one of the suggestions we kept running. Man, I can't talk today. We kept running. That was one of the suggestions we kept running across, is to remove those front rollers. And it just so happens on the printer that we have, it does have a front and back roller, and you can remove the front rollers. I did that for the first 2 or 3 batches of cards, and I found it dumps like 6 cards at a time through it instead of just scanning one card. So we fought it a lot. And as soon as I put the roller back in, it seemed to be all right. And I think maybe it's just the model of printer I have. It does not like you removing those front rollers. If I was scanning something in cases, maybe like in graded cases or something, I might be able to get away with it. But with just the postcards, it definitely doesn't like it. But that is a good suggestion. It is one we've run across, and it seems to work for a lot of people. Let's see here. So we got doing it wrong. Why do I say doing it wrong?
You mean kind of like twongs?
I'm throwing W's into every word now. I think Chris has got me off my game over here. Doing it wrong. Says the most likely reason your cards are jamming is the platen roller is dirty. A common thing for postcard scanners. Depending on the material, you can either use sticky paper or more likely isopropyl and water. They do make specific platen cleaners for your printer type that won't eventually break down the rollers like alcohol can. If that doesn't work, you can just replace the platen rollers. That is another great suggestion. I have done some cleaning on it with Q-tips and isopropyl alcohol. Right? Isopropyl? Is that right? Did I say it wrong?
I gotta come over here. Did you say isopropyl?
Isopropyl.
It's isopropyl.
Isopropyl. You guys.
You got some icy alcohol?
Well, I mean alcohol, not bourbon, but the kind you clean with. We have done that. I have cleaned it off with that painter's tape, the blue painter's tape. Just roll it backwards and kind of go through the roller with it. And that does seem to help for a while. So that is correct. The rollers do get dirty, and I think that is a big part of the problem. So you're absolutely right. I should check into the actual cleaner for that model. I think that would be a good idea. Maybe just see if we can get the proper cleaning method down on it and see if that helps, because I think that's a big part of the problem for sure. Second Life Shop says the Second Life scanner. I have my husband almost on board with driving and staying an extra day for Planes to Profit. We are in Ontario, Canada. Diane. Quit laughing at me, Teresa. Words are hard.
Cannot speak today. Hooked on phonics.
I cannot speak today. Diane, that would be amazing if you guys made it down for Planes to Profit. That would be really cool.
We like Canadians.
We like Canadians.
Josh is a Canadian, and Nathan was a Canadian.
They don't know who Nathan
I
is.
know, but still.
We do have Canadian friends, and they're Canada is just it's just our northernmost state, really. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm not saying we should make you the 51st state.
No, it's because everybody thinks we talk like Canadians and we act like Canadians.
I'm just saying we're in South Dakota. We probably have more in common with the southern Canada people than we do with the southern US people. And we're closer in proximity, so that makes sense. Anyway, point of the story, we would love to have you at Planes to Profit. That'd be really cool to meet you guys. This one's going rough. This is rough. I cannot talk today.
How much editing are you going to have to do?
We're not editing these. We're just going to put them out. They are what they are. Let's see. Second Life Shop, Diane also says, solo new seller here, but I do bounce ideas off my husband. Currently, business was hurt by not just for the tariffs, but our postal service went on strike. Ouch. Waiting for the strike to fully end, so EIS will start in Canada. I changed who I was shipping with for my store. My husband keeps me grounded because my mind is always going with new ideas. I can relate to this. Not the post office going on strike.
And not the Teresa keeping you grounded.
And, well, Teresa keeps me grounded. I could totally relate with this because I'm a squirrel with ideas. We were just bouncing ideas back and forth today about these episodes. Whether or not we were going to keep doing them and how we should format them. If we should make it just our normal videos or make it a separate little series. And I think we decided we're going to make it a separate little series. We made its own playlist. Every Saturday we'll come on and do the same thing. Hopefully your post office gets itself straightened out. I did hear EIS. Are you talking about eBay's international shipping program for Canada? Because I did hear some things about that. And I'm hoping that comes through for you guys and works well. It sounds like that's kind of going to be...
Are they going to get it like the U.S.?
Kind of, yeah. Yep. And I think that would be the best option for you guys. I hope that goes through for you. Let's see. Tina with the Lake Exchange. I'm asked frequently by my husband to stop buying. Yeah, right. But I'm working hard to get things listed within 48 hours of purchase. Tina, listen to your husband. Stop buying so much.
On her?
No, I mean, if you're true to your goal there and you can buy it and list it in 48 hours, that's half the battle. I mean, good on you if you can keep up that pace. We certainly can't. We don't get it listed in 48 hours, but we also buy a ton. Like, we do a lot of buying, so I get that. But getting everything listed within 48 hours, that's a Herculean task. If you're keeping up with that, you're killing it. But there are times when Teresa and I have had to have a hard conversation about, hey, no more crap can come in here. Like, literally, we gotta stop. We can't be doing this. And there does come times when we put ourselves on buying freezes. This summer, we've sourced less than ever, haven't we?
Yes. Sorry, I'm over here shaking my head and nobody can see me.
So there are definitely times when you have to, one, for your own mental health, but two, for the business. It's not good just to be buried in your own stuff, but it sounds like you're keeping up with it. So as long as you're keeping up with it and you've got room to list it and put it away, I guess you're in good shape. And you're a grown lady. You do what you want. Let's see. T Brownell 102 says, how about covering how you began? I'm fairly new to reselling. I work full-time, but I've used my extra income from eBay to keep me afloat. I admire your success and feed on your advice. I would love to hear your adventure from the beginning, the good, the ugly. I am solo. I probably will never be as successful, but I'm retiring soon and I need this to be a good side business. Thanks for all you do. First thing I would say is...
Don't be negative.
No, that wasn't negative at all.
No, she said I'll never be as successful.
I think a lot of people consider successful based on who's got the higher number, and I don't think that's true at all. If you can sell enough to pay your bills and you're not grinding 24/7 to do it, and you still have some life balance in there, I'd call that success. Even if it's only you need $1,000 a month. I don't think you definitely shouldn't base your success based on us, because I wouldn't consider us successful yet. We have a game plan. We're not there. And part of that game plan is we don't want to work as hard as we are working. So right now, I would say we're in the middle of a plan, by far not successful with our plan, not where we want to be. And we would be much happier and consider ourselves much more successful if we made a little less and worked a lot less. But as far as where we began, we do have kind of an origin story video on this channel where we kind of talk through the whole why we started and how we started and all that. But in short, we sold a business, a very successful business. And when we did, it gave us enough money to take a few years off and figure out what we wanted to do next. And after, I don't know, what was it, 8 months? After about 8 months, we basically got bored, or I got bored. We did buy a local business. We bought a local building, and we started an escape room and axe throwing business. But it didn't take me long to figure out that that's not for me. I'm not a great people person. Teresa is a social butterfly. She loves that side of things. I don't like going in and having to deal with people in person on a consistent basis. It's just not, like, I have to have that in moderation. I can't do it all the time. So it didn't take us long to figure out we needed to do something else online, which is what our previous business was. And we settled on eBay. And once we decided we were going to do it, we got on YouTube like most people do. And we just started, or I started consuming unhealthy amounts of YouTube videos, try and figure it out, see what the ins and outs were, and at least get the foundation figured out. And when we were ready to jump, I had an old Dodge Charger sitting out here, and it was all torn apart, and basically we hadn't touched it in years and years. And I decided to go ahead and sell it for just dirt cheap, just a price I knew somebody was going to come take it. And we sold that. We got $1,000 out of it. And we took that $1,000 and we rolled it directly into the eBay business. And that's how we got started. Now, I will also say, I don't know, Teresa, you could weigh in on this too. If we had it to do all over again, if we were going to start eBay from scratch today, would you want to start with no knowledge and $1,000?
Yes.
I would not.
I would, because it made us learn and not rely on just knowing everything.
I'm the opposite of that. I think we learn best by making dumb mistakes, and we make a lot of them, like a lot of them. $1,000 allowed us to make a lot of dumb mistakes very quickly. So in that aspect, I agree. It got us up and running. It got us up and running fast. But had we only started with $200, it would have been slower to build. But I do think we would have made less of those mistakes right away. Because out of that $1,000, and I think I've said it before, I think in that $1,000 we had, about 900 of it went to junk inventory that we couldn't sell. That didn't sell, that wouldn't sell. We weren't looking things up. Like, it was just about 900 of it was wasted to get us to the point where we could take that last 100 and just multiply it over and over. And we've never taken another dollar out of our personal finances since that day. We started with 1,000, we burned 900, we used 100, and we multiplied it. And that's what we've been doing since. And on one aspect, I guess the $1,000 got us there, but had we had to do with a few hundred, I think the mistakes would have been smaller and less costly, and it would have grown slower, but it would have been more profitable. So I'm not a big fan with starting with a nest egg. Teresa, on the other hand, apparently she likes that we did it quickly. So I hope that answers your question, but thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you pick some things up that can help you not waste a bunch of money, but I think you'd be fine. And as far as successful goes, that's something you have to define for yourself. It's a good idea just to write down what it is you want out of eBay. I mean, most of us, I could say I wanted $1 million from our business, but it's in reality, to get there, I'm not willing to put in the work it would take to get there. What I really want is enough money to survive and have the freedom to run and see the grandkids and maybe take them camping or go on a trip and not be 100% tied to this business for 60, 70 hours a week. That's what I want. And we're not there yet. So success is different for everybody.
What's that saying? I'm forewarning for anybody that's listening. Want in one hand, shit in the other.
That's horrible. Why would you say that?
I don't know. It just came to my head when you said it.
That has nothing to do with the conversation.
That's what came to into my head.
You guys,
Leave it alone.
Teresa's grounded. She has to go back in the house. Let's see. So we got Patty D, 3735. He was trying to get a refund from someone who didn't want to pay to send them back. This is on a video where we talked about
Refunds?
scams and refunds and just shysters on eBay. If I remember that conversation correctly, that's exactly what it was. They were just trying to get a partial refund. We actually just had somebody do that recently. And our standard answer to that is send it back. We have free returns. We'll pay them all day long. We don't do partial refunds. Even if it would cost us $5 to give him a partial refund, but it costs us $10 to ship it back, it's coming back. You're not going to win that game with us. If you want a partial refund, then you don't want the product. And I want you happy when you get the product. And if you're not happy 100%, I'll take it back. And that's just how we do it. And that is a very tiny portion. Our free returns cost us a very little every year. It's just part of doing business. But I would rather pay that than fund people who know that they can just say the words partial refund and get one every time. If I want a discount program for my business, that's my decision. It's not theirs. So that's kind of how we run that. Well, let's see. We got Barden Garden MT says, there really hasn't been much to watch on YouTube reselling related. This is not about AI. That's not about AI or sourcing. Everyone's gearing up for Q4. I like to watch the sourcing videos, but I get FOMO, so I had to stop. I watch People's Court and Antique Roadshow as an alternative. Yeah, there's certain times of the week when there's just not a lot of reseller content, period. Weekends, and as a creator, I could kind of tell you these Saturday videos, Saturday Shop Talk now, these are coming out, but we're releasing them we're releasing them for you guys more than for us, because the weekends perform typically poorly in terms of content. They're not a great time to release content. So I can see why people don't. But these ones, these are basically for the viewers that come back and watch us whenever we release a video, because they want answers to questions, and they know who we are. So we can kind of get away with releasing these on Saturdays. But as far as the picking videos, we watched a lot of those when we first started doing this. And I couldn't keep doing it, not because I had FOMO or missed out on something they picked up, but more because I wasn't learning anything from them. Like nothing. There was no redeemable value in the video beyond entertainment. Because I could go out to a garage sale, take a camera with me, and I could pick up thousands of dollars worth of absolute shit, just garbage, and put it on a video and act excited about it all day long, but it doesn't show you anything. So that's kind of why we gravitated originally towards the what sold style videos, is because for us, they were more valuable to us, and we wanted more of that on YouTube. And I think that's a good policy, is if you decide to be a creator of any kind, find something that you want more of and make that. That's generally a good policy. So that's kind of why we gravitate to the more what sold. But as we got to doing those videos, it turned into something completely different. Yeah, we do our what solds, and maybe somebody picks some stuff up or learns something now and then, which isn't our intention. But more importantly, it kind of, for us, it created a much better bond between us and the viewers, to where the people that watch us and watch us regularly, they kind of know who we are. They get a better look at our personalities. We get to have talk back and forth with them in the comments and videos like these. And on a picking video, it's just a first person view of a hand going around grabbing stuff. So it's a lot less personal, that's kind of why we like these type of videos. I don't know that you asked that, but there it is. That's why we go for that type of video. Let's see. Bookworld 4224, a competitor should buy List Easier.
No.
They could control the listings going to the site. I don't think List Easier makes a lot because they don't charge us a lot, but man, is it ever awesome. Yeah, you're not wrong. And I don't know if Josh and the people involved in that, Dave and God, I draw a blank on the other name, but I don't know if they have an interest in selling it. I mean, I think Josh and those guys really like building that business. I don't know that it's ever gone down that road. I'm sure if the number was right, you know, maybe they would, but I can't speak for them. I actually really like that Josh owns the business. We could call Josh on his phone and he answers. We can email him.
He put his phone number out there for anybody that wants to pick up the phone and call him.
Yep. And that's not a company doing that. That's just a person. And that's the kind of person Josh is. And that's the kind of person I want behind the company that's responsible for most of our listings. So I respect the heck out of what they're doing and how they're doing it. They're doing it right. And you're right. The software is awesome. Everything I'm listing here today, everything I'm putting photographs of here today is going to get listed with List Easier in just a minute or two after I'm done. I just hit a button and it's up. So I don't know if a competitor will buy it or not. I guess that would be up to Josh. It'll be interesting to see. Beach by Repeat says, have I been under a rock? What's Teresa's new store?
Really, Amy?
Amy, yes, you have been under a rock. We have talked about it for about 5 videos straight. So if you missed our videos, you probably don't know that Teresa created another niche store. And that niche store is called Dapper Dazzle Emporium, right?
Yep.
And she sells everything from cufflinks and earrings to watches and all kinds of jewelry and
rings.
lapel,
oh my.
like lapel pins and all kinds of stuff she sells on there. So that's her new niche store. And that's the store where she's using List Easier to list all of her listings.
And I've made $550 in sales on that in less than a month.
Yep, she's already got sales coming in, so that store is building and it's going well. I have no idea if they can hear you, so we'll see when we go to edit this if they can hear you or not.
I'm trying to be super loud!
Teresa does not have a mic on.
Because I got yelled at.
Because she's rustling around over there. She did not get yelled at by me. She got yelled at by you guys. So it wasn't me. And it was just a couple of people that said she was loud and distracting, which I find true most days, but I don't tell her about it. Oh, let's see. Who do we got here? Oh, that was it. Amy, I hope that answers your question. And I hope you watch some more of our videos so you can keep up on the in and outs and daily life of Grams and Pops here. And Amy, if you haven't already, get yourself one of those. GramsandPopsVintage.com. All right, who do we got? Janine Bryant says, you two complement each other perfectly. It's hard as a business owner who is just one person who needs to juggle both roles. They require 2 different frames of mind. Yeah, that was, if you guys missed it, our previous video, we talked about thinkers versus doers type of mentality in business. That was kind of the whole topic of the video. And Janine's right. That's for somebody doing this alone or who doesn't have the ability to switch back and forth in their own mind between those 2 roles. That is a major disadvantage. I mean, the fact that we have both of us and we're so polar opposite is a massive advantage for us. And we've been working together like this for decades, and it's just something we've really got down. We know each other very well. We know which one of us is good at some things and bad at others. So we can capitalize on that, and it's part of our business. So to be a solo person in this, you got to find other ways to capitalize on that. Maybe that's finding a mastermind group that you can call once a week and talk about business. Maybe it's finding another business owner in your area. It doesn't even matter. They could own a bakery. They still own a business. And business is business when it comes to a lot of the troubles and advice. So I would say seek out somebody that's in business, whether it's a mastermind or another owner locally or whatever it is, that you think has very different traits than you. Find someone like for me, I'm an introvert. Like, you couldn't get more of an introvert than me. I can be extroverted, but it takes a lot of my energy. And day to day, I am definitely an introvert. If I needed advice and I didn't have Teresa here, I would seek out that type A extrovert personality that would drive me nuts if I had talked to him for too long. But that's the person I would seek out because they see things differently than me. And
Low quantity of personal time.
Low quantity of personal time.
Not personal time.
No.
Social time.
Social time. Yeah. And again, Teresa and I are opposite in that. She thrives on that public interaction, that talking with people one-on-one. And that, while I enjoy it, it drains me very quickly. I have to go fill my social tank back up after short periods of time. I can't do the big crowd. You'll never find me at Disney World. You just won't find me there. Like, that's not big crowds and stuff like that's not me. All right, so hopefully you can find somebody locally, because that is a huge help if you are solo. Goat Digs, solo seller here, and word of advice is to make sure that your spouse is okay with it and really keep that communication open, because I've probably had more arguments with my wife since starting this part-time than we've had in our entire relationship for almost 20 years. So for those of you with super supportive spouses, or really loud ones, count yourself lucky. For others, be careful and make sure you're just communicating on the expectations, as in many ways, this is more of a lifestyle change than just a job. For me, I'm doing this for our financial stability, but also identity, financial freedom in the event, not if I lose my job, but when I lose it. Today, I can't walk right into another high-paying day job due to AI and oversaturation of very smart folks. Yeah, that speaks to a lot of people, Goat Digs. I think, especially younger couples, when you're talking to old folks like us who have been married for longer in our lives than we've not been married, we've kind of got each other figured out. If I'm going to start a new venture, I know how to start it. And part of that how to start it is how that is brought to Teresa and how it's approached in that aspect, and spelling out those expectations ahead of time, so that I'm not just bringing, I'm not going to bring a dairy goat farm out here without talking to Teresa about it. It's just like, I'm not going to show up with a trailer full of goats and be like, we don't have to argue about this. It's just our new business. It's a lot about communicating, and the longer you're married, we kind of have a shorthand. I grunt, she grunts, we're good. Like, we know what each other's doing. We don't really argue about business. The only time we really argue about business, and it's not even an argument, is when we differ in direction. Like, if I want to put us on a buying freeze, for example, and restructure something, Teresa might balk at that a little bit. She might fight that a little bit. But ultimately, if I could justify it and say, look, this is why, this is how long, then I don't think there's really ever been a time when we both didn't get on board. Well, put it this way, we don't have the option of going to bed and saying, you're right, I'm wrong. We've been here for damn near 40 years. Well, 30, damn near 30 years. See, that's why I have her. She does math for me. I've been here for almost 30 years. We're not going to wake up tomorrow and go somewhere else. We're going to figure it out. So that's just the way it is. But as to your comment here, I hope you get things sorted out, and I think it's hard to convey those expectations to a spouse in a situation like eBay, because it's hard to know what to expect yourself. When we got into this, we had no idea we were going to have this giant building full of inventory. That wasn't, we set this up with 4 shelves in the front office of our escape room building in a room we weren't using, thinking we got this. And it took us about 30 days to figure out we got nothing. Like, we didn't have this. We filled up with inventory, and we had stuff not selling, and we were making bad buys, and we didn't know the expectations. So it was hard to convey that. So maybe part of that is just conveying that. You're doing something that's difficult, and you don't have all the answers. But as there are issues that come up, you guys got to figure out a shorthand to actually get through those. If she sees that you're building a building full of inventory and that's the problem, then you can address that in the business. So not to say I'm giving you marital advice here. I'm not. I'm just sharing some of the stuff we run into.
Corey's a marriage counselor now.
Corey is not a marriage counselor. Teresa's back here giving me gruff. All right, so Matt Donnelly says, how much longer before eBay buys List Easier? I think we addressed that a little bit. I don't know, Matt. I think if they came to Josh and those guys with the right offer, it might be a possibility, but I'm not sure they're even looking to sell. Either way, now that AI is on the scene and they've made this type of listing available, I was doing AI listing before I bought List Easier, just in a different way. List Easier has made it way more streamlined. They built the processes around it. It's much better than mine. But even if List Easier went to another company or changed hands or changed completely, now that AI is on the scene, I don't think it's going back. Like I will never go back to doing our stores the way we did them before. There's no reason to. This is easier. It's better. It makes more sales. It just makes the job more doable. So whether they do or not, I think is kind of irrelevant. I think AI is out of the bag. I think it's here. So it's just a matter of in what form are we going to use it. Ecom Squad YT. When there are no reseller vids, I watch Odd Tinkering, Savage Kingdom, or Big Stack D. Check them out. 2 of them are no talking. Who knows, maybe a new money maker for you. Odd Tinkering. I'm curious. I'm going to have to look those up. Odd Tinkering, Savage Kingdom, or Big Stack D. I wonder what kind of content they make. Well, I won't have to wonder long. I'm going to look them up. I appreciate the recommendations. I'm always into finding something new. I don't do well watching things for entertainment value. I get about 10 minutes in and then I start feeling really guilty I'm not doing something productive. I could watch something else in that same time and learn something. So I have a very hard time doing something for the pure joy of watching something because it just feels lazy to me. And it's not. I mean, you got to shut off every now and then. But for me personally, it's very hard to watch something for entertainment. But I'm going to check those out. I'll see what they're about. Upstate Picker says, I recently picked up a truckload of ephemera that will most likely sit here for a while. I might have to give List Easier another try to get it moving. Upstate Picker, I think you were in our reseller therapy, or maybe it was on Buck Mountain's Pickin' and Grinnin' channel in the live, and you said you actually did get List Easier going, and you were working on your ephemera. I hope that's the case. I don't remember for sure, but I thought you did.
I think he said it was like military papers.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, if you get listing that with List Easier, I think you'll find out you're gonna go through it very quickly, and you're not gonna have it sitting around very long. Like, I would say it's harder to keep inventory in stock even when we're buying in bulk now than it is a problem of having inventory laying around. It's we list it so fast, we got to find more. Let's see, who do we got next here? I think I did that one. All right, we got White Mountain Treasures. It says, thanks for the tip. Do I have that upside down? I do. It says, thanks for the tip on Flyp. That will make it easier and solves the decision on whether or not to do multi-stores. And yes, it was the stereo views. I was curious on shipping. Thanks. By the way, I have an Epson ES-500 W scanner I bought a few years ago for scanning postcards. It's about $350 now. It's been a workhorse. It's the same one, perhaps slightly different model that Popeye's Postcard uses. Just FYI, if you don't get another, or if you do get another, so happy with ours. Let's see. And he says he too likes the working Q&A videos, but don't stop the other format. No, we will never stop the other format. That's the side of this that we actually really like. This format was just something, we're out here working anyway, and we're not very good at answering questions on YouTube. So we figured this is something we really don't have to edit. We could just turn it on while we're working anyway. So this is just in addition to. We won't get rid of the other one. As far as the printer suggestion, I think I've heard that Epson model before. Gotta get a drink. Can't talk anymore. Hey guys, just a quick note. We're doing these videos on Saturdays, and our Saturday auctions on thedollarauction.com end every Saturday at 5 p.m. So if you're watching this video, you may still have some time to go check out thedollarauction.com. All these things back here, every week, 12 more lots go up on thedollarauction.com starting at just $1 bid. So go check it out. We hope to see you there. All right, so my camera died and my voice died all at the same time, so it's perfect timing. We got a new battery in there. But no, as far as the Epson printer goes, I have seen that one talked about before, and $350. I mean, you'd pay for it. You'd pay for it in just a few weeks if you were serious about scanning postcards. So that's not a huge investment. I would definitely get one of those. If this one wears out or I can't get it straightened out, I think I probably will move towards something like that. Let's see here. Wolfman Goodies, Chad says, howdy everyone. Howdy, Chad. Lewis Perrin Lintz 4192 says, my sales are booming suddenly. Yours are in suddenly, others are also. I think it has nothing to do with anything you're doing or not doing. What he's talking about is, in our last video, we talked about the fact that we've been making a lot of pretty substantial changes in our business, and those changes are stacking in different ways with the goal of adding money to our 90-day total to make more profit. I don't really care about the 90-day total as far as how much we sell. I could care less. We're hoping to take home more, so a lot of our changes are focused on that. But in the last video, we mentioned that over the past 90 days, with all of our changes, one of those changes being List Easier, we've added an additional $17,000 to our 90-day total, what we're bringing in. Not our net. Our net, we added about $2,200 a month to our net in the last 90 days. That's a pretty substantial raise. And I think what he's saying is it's just that eBay's giving us more money. Like it's just booming everywhere, and it has nothing to do with anything we're doing. I mean, I did mention in the video it could be several factors. It could be tariffs, it could be fourth quarter, it could be a lot of things. But we didn't start eBay yesterday. Like, we know what our fourth quarters look like. We know what our trends look like. We know what we're selling and what we're not selling, and why it starts when it does and when it doesn't. So we have a pretty good baseline to measure the effect of what we're changing and what we're doing. We could also say that, you know, we have 3 additional eBay stores we didn't have 90 days ago. Yes. It's really difficult to say that we just got a big bump from eBay and it has nothing to do with what we're doing, when a third of the income we're talking about in that big bump was actually from stores we didn't have 90 days ago. So I would not argue that it's not a combination of several things. I certainly think that it could be and is. But one of those things, in a large part, is the changes we're making to directly affect that number. We're very intentional about it. We're not just throwing stuff at the wall. We make a change, we measure stuff, we see if it works, we go back, and we learn from our mistakes and we improve on it. And we've talked about that in several videos. And I think if you're intentional about growing your business, when changes happen, celebrate those wins. Don't write them off to, God just liked me better this week. Maybe he does, that's great. But also, you worked your butt off, and you should take credit for it. You should be happy and celebrate it. So I think if your sales have exploded and other people's sales have exploded, rather that was a direct reflection of something you were trying to do, celebrate the win regardless. And if you were trying to do it and you've made changes, don't be afraid to take credit for your own work. I mean, if you put the effort in and the results came, then it was you. So let's see. Lag says, hey, Lag. Thanks for watching the video.
Do we know his name?
Lag?
Yeah.
I do. I should. But I'm not sure what it is. Lag, let us know your real name. We'll stop calling you Lag. Let's see. AZ Cat Sue says, the grind is real being a solo seller. You are not wrong, Sue. I can't imagine. Like, I couldn't. We talked about that in our previous video. If you guys haven't watched it, go ahead and check it out after this. If we talked about if we weren't doing this together, it would be a different thing. I think Teresa would just have the grams of pop shop, and she would just keep grinding, and it would stay steady, and it would never grow, and she'd just do it until the day she died. And for me, I wouldn't do this business. I wouldn't do it the same we're doing it. I would have to change it in some drastic ways if I didn't have Teresa here helping me, because she does a lot of the stuff that I just wouldn't do.
That you wouldn't, or that it's not that you wouldn't, it's that you don't like to.
No, I don't like to, and I wouldn't. Like, my mental health would decline so fast if I had to sit out here. Like what we're doing with these stereo views, I'm going to knock this out in under an hour and then I could focus on something else. In short bursts, I can hyper focus and I get a lot done. But if I had to sit out here for 8 hours a day and do this, I don't know, I'd have to get on Ritalin or something. I couldn't do it. My brain doesn't allow me to sit still that long. When I'm done with this, I'll go in the house, and I'm actually working on splitting out our business into different little chunks, little pieces of our business that for the sake of keeping it easy, just think of them as divisions of the Grams and Pops business. I'm working on breaking those out and defining them better so that we could pull levers in different areas of our business, not just as a reselling business at whole. So that's part of what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to getting done with this so I could go back inside and keep doing that, because when I have that done and I have it right, then I can actually focus on just a single little piece of our business and affect change on a small level. And if I do that over 4 or 5 different divisions in the company, you can make some major changes that even if people are saying, that's just eBay, you got lucky, it doesn't matter. If you're pulling the levers, and you can make some really large changes by stacking really small ones. So that's kind of what I've been working on, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it. And I couldn't sit out here and do this all day. I have to have another project like that in the background. So Sue, you're right. The grind is real. I couldn't do it. Silver Hair Stacker, that's Todd. I know his name. Congratulations on your success. It's fun for me to see good people doing well. Thank you, Todd. My sales are ticking along at about 10% above 2024 levels. I suppose I'm a grinder, but I'm always with new and interesting stuff to sell. Yeah, it sounds like you're very consistent and very steady.
Is that still Todd?
That's Todd.
Todd likes his gold and silver.
Todd likes his gold and silver.
And you only get to see his hands.
Yeah, you do only get to see his hands in the videos. Todd, I actually admire that a lot. Just the fact that you're able to keep your sales, one, you went up 10%, but the fact that you were able to keep your sales steady through a year-long period, I would say probably 80% of the people that try eBay, probably larger than that. That's probably a small number. But I would say at least 80% of the people that try eBay are way too inconsistent on a long-term basis to get a baseline even like as simple as that. They just don't ever see that baseline. Like that takes an enormous amount of discipline to make yourself be consistent for a 1-year period. And then to repeat that and do it for 4, 5, 6, 10 years, most people don't have that in them. That's why they have jobs. They have someone to keep them accountable. And if you're doing that year in, year out, I respect the hell out of that. Let's see. So we got Phoenix 8094. Says, I keep losing the plot every few minutes. I don't think I'll find the answer. I don't think either of us are going to find the answer. I don't know what the heck that meant. Our stories don't have a plot. If that's what you're referring to, we don't really work on a plot. We just kind of get on here and we talk, and that's a lot of dumb stuff comes out. So I'm not sure there's a plot. So if you're looking for a plot, let's see, who can I recommend? Try Rachel for kids. She's a good storyteller.
Are you talking Miss Rachel?
Miss Rachel. She has a plot. We don't, Grams and Pops don't do plots. Let's see, Patty D 3735 says, I agree with Teresa. I'm not reading the rest of this. I'm kidding. She says, I agree with Teresa. I hate lowball offers. I actually had someone make me an offer. I counter offered and they countered again. Yeah, that's, first of all, don't agree with Teresa. Don't do that.
Suck it.
You're just going to encourage her.
Hey,
let's
talk about lowball offers.
Let's talk about lowball offers.
So Teresa has an item that's listed for $150 on the Bay of E.
Okay.
And somebody sent me a $100 offer. So I went back with what I was willing to accept, which was $134.99. Then they came back with $110, but I'm only willing to go $139.99 or $134.99. Then they came back with 2 other offers at $119.99 and said, this is the last offer I'm making because that's what eBay tells me.
I
know I sounded the B word, but you know,
That is the risk. That's the risk you run. The only advice I could give you with that is I understand from Teresa, I really, really understand that those offers can be frustrating. I understand that somebody's trying to get something for nothing and they're annoying. I get all of that. But I think for me, I've gotten very good at taking the emotion out of business. And it's just a transaction. It's just a business transaction. And there's always people trying to get a better deal. And there's always people trying to get one over on you. But you can't let them get you angry. You can't make them make an emotional decision for your business. And if you reply to that in a negative way, or handle that in a negative way and let that get in your head for the rest of the day, then it's not doing your business any good. So when it comes to day to day, if somebody comes up to you on the street and does some dumb crap like that, that's in your personal life, and I could see then you can use your emotions. But when it comes to business, something that has to work the same today as it does tomorrow as it does next year, you kind of have to take the emotion out of it. For me, not for everybody, but for me that works best. So I'm always the guy in the corner when Teresa starts cursing at a user sending a bad offer, telling her, hold on, take a minute, don't reply. At the very least, tell ChatGPT how you're feeling about it, show them what they said, and ask ChatGPT to give you a professional answer or how to handle the situation, because it's very good at taking the emotion out. So those kind of things don't really bother me. They really kind of roll off my back. They don't with Teresa though. But that's not a good thing, because she will be upset for 20 minutes after that for nothing. Like why would you give somebody the power to upset you for part of your day? It's just in a business. There's no reason, right? Why are you looking at me like, have I upset you? You got 30 minutes, get over it.
Really?
Let's see. Patty D also says they're called sprues, what the little toys are attached to. Oh, she's talking about on models, the tree with all the pieces in it that you got to break off. The little tabs are called sprues, or the whole thing is called a sprue. Yeah. I've never heard that before. Teresa says she has, so that's
now that she said it.
Well, thank you for that. I have never heard them called that before. I didn't know they were called that. Let's see. This says, please tell us your store names. Connie Lou says, please tell us your store names. Connie, we have Grams and Pops Vintage, which is a store you can find on eBay. We have Stereo View Vault, which is our ephemera store, and we have Dapper Dazzle Emporium, which is Teresa's jewelry and blingy store. And we have one other store that's in the works. It was our cookbook store. We're now kind of pulling back on that. We have a different idea that I think is going to work better. So I think we're gonna double back on that. We've had one sale in there. It hasn't been a great store. It's been okay, but it hasn't been great. I think we're gonna.
You have one out of like 80 posted.
Yeah, I only have like 70 items posted. It hasn't had a lot of effort put into it. So we're gonna switch that up. And I think we have a really good idea for that store. So we'll let you know when that comes about. So that's what the store names are. You can find them all on eBay. Mo87 Official.
Mo!
Hey, Mo. She says, I've always been a thinker and never get anything done. Mo, that is the problem I would have without Teresa. I am very good at sitting down and getting things done in short periods of time. It's not like I don't get anything done. But having that doer, I mean, that's a case where you might have to hire someone. I mean, if you're the thinker and you know how to structure the business and make it work, and you just need task A, B, C done, and you know what they are and they're well defined, hire somebody. There's people out there willing to do it.
She has kids.
Yeah, I think you've got a teenager, don't you? Have them do it. Josh Galt says he can't wait to see what our business looks like this time next year. Me neither. Me neither, Josh. It's interesting because we're changing rapidly. We might not even be in this business next year. It might look so totally different that we wouldn't even consider it an eBay business anymore. We don't know. But things are changing very, very quickly now. Way quicker than they have in the past 3 years. Let's see. We got Lingoin 5078. How do you get around the shipping cost on high bid and proxy bid? We don't.
You don't. You factor them in.
We don't get around it. We factor those in when we're buying something. If we can't afford to have it shipped here and still be profitable, then we don't buy there. And a lot of times we'll look for the local like proxy bids and high bids. We'll look for ones that were close enough for us to drive to and get. That helps. But if we are buying something that needs shipped, you have to figure the shipping in. And if you could buy it cheap enough and still including the shipping and it's still cheap enough to profit on, then you're fine. And I think this is where we differ from most people. We're very comfortable being a little bit more flexible in our margins. We're not the kind of eBayers that are going to go out and say, I won't buy it if I can't 10x it. If I'm going to buy something for $1 and flip it for 10, yes, I want to 10x that. But if I could buy something for $500 and flip it for 1,000, I don't need to 10x it. I could double my money and I'm going to be just fine. We care about the profit at the end, not the margin. So we're able to ship on proxy bid with lower margins if we're buying the right stuff. So I hope that helps. Let's see. I am done with stereo views. So we're getting here to the end of the video. I think we're on the last few slides here. So Suncoast Flippers said you had me at It's Going to Mexico. I think those were our Star Wars figures, right?
It is.
Yeah, we packaged 18 different Star Wars figures and they all went international. So no returns, which is good. Mary Mitchell 6625 says, great video, way to kill those higher profit items. So encouraging. I'm also solo and blessed that my family supports me. They go source with me, bring me shipping supplies, etc.
That's a bonus.
That's huge. That just even if they're not helping you, if they're supportive, that's a huge thing that a lot of people don't have. I've recently decided to list higher priced items too. Haven't found the home runs like y'all yet, but I've been blessed to find more $25 plus items more consistently. Always learning, passing on the lower profit items keeps things moving smoothly for me. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'll give you the key, the secret sauce, the trick
Secret sauce?
to the higher ticket item.
That was...
You be quiet back there before you get me in trouble.
That's not what I was meaning at first.
Jiminy Christmas.
Sorry.
The secret to the high ticket side, the more you look for it, the more you're going to find it. When you switch, and it sounds like you are, you're gonna find that you're willing to pay up on things that other people aren't, and those things will start showing up more. You'll start seeing them more. And that's been with us. It took 6 months to get out of that garage sale mindset where we didn't want to spend more than $2-3 on something, and now we're looking for things. We went to a garage sale yesterday. We've been to 5 times to this same garage sale.
Yep.
They have a whole table full of stuff, and individually they got them priced at $40, $30, $20, and they're not worth that. That's eBay price plus. So we've always scoffed at this garage sale, but we went back, not even knowing that's the sale it was, but we got there and we're looking at that stuff, and I was like, okay, we're not the same pickers we were last year. Let's just make him an offer on the entire table.
But you didn't even make him an offer.
And well, we made him an offer as far as tell us what you want for the entire table. We're going to clear off this entire side of your garage sale. And he gave us the entire table for $250. And easily, if he would have priced that stuff out, it would have been a few $1,000s as far as individual prices he had on them. So we're picking so much differently now. We're looking for the big buys, and because we're looking for them, we're finding them in places that we've looked at dozens of times and just overlooked them. So that's the secret. They do show up more the more you look for them, and you're on absolutely the right track. That was it. That is all, guys. So if you haven't yet, go grab yourself a pick pointer from Grams and Pops Vintage. And if you like these videos, leave us a comment below. Our normal videos are on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Those are the videos you want to be catching for sure, even if you don't catch these ones. Leave comments there. We'll answer them all every Saturday morning. And we will see you next time on
Rancor says bye.
We'll see you next time on Saturday Shop Talk.
Bye.